My name is Mark Ballou, and I'm a CNPA member. And I've been asked to make a video to explain how to make a video to upload to Adobe to make money. And you can do stills this way, but I'm going to show you how to do video because most of us wildlife photographers don't shoot videos, and you already know how to do post-processing and uploading stills is easy to Adobe. You'll see how to do that once we get into the Adobe piece. But for now, this is Davinci. So what you're looking at is a desktop when you download Davinci Resolve. And so you'll need to do that. This is a free software. There are two versions of this. There's a bit of a learning curve, but you don't need to know everything. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, and I am self-taught. And just FYI, I'm having to learn a new program right now with you guys so that I can do what I'm doing, and that is narrate using Davinci as a YouTuber. So it's a new program for me. I'm having to learn it. I just did the entire video for you guys and did it wrong. So this is the second time that I'm doing it. So anyway, go find your favorite browser. And I know there's a Windows 11 because that's what I'm using. There's a Mac version. There may be a Linux version. I don't know. But you are looking for Davinci Resolve 20.2. That's the most current. Okay, get that installed. Hopefully you'll see an operating area like this. I've already started a new project. That's what we're going to be doing, is making a project. It's called 2026 CNPA Davinci to Adobe. That's what we're going to be doing in this video, getting us out of your camera, drug onto your desktop somewhere, and then drug into this timeline that I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, I've done it. Now, I am not going to be able to explain to you guys how to take a video in your camera. I'm shooting a Canon R5 Mark II. I'm going to drag over a video clip that I shot from my Canon R5 Mark II. And I also shoot OM Systems, OM1 Mark II. And some of you guys shoot those brands. Some of you guys shoot other brands, Sony, Nikon, etc. So there's no way in the world I can make a video explaining all that. But what you want to be able to do is get in and out of stills to video very quickly. So I know on my Canon, I can flick a switch or push a button, and I can be in the world shooting stills and then see something that I want to take a video of and very, very quickly be in a preset in video right away. I can be in a sunflower field looking for birds to photograph, and all of a sudden I can see a monarch on a big front of a sunflower, great composition, and then boom, boom, I can just be taking a video of it handheld. I do 99.9% of what I photograph and shoot stills handheld. I don't like to fuss with tripods. That's just me. I know that in long exposure and astro and macro, I'm not really doing those things. I do primarily wildlife, in the field, running gun, stills, and video. So that's what this video is about. So once you've got an MP4 sitting on your SD card somewhere, you can do what I'm about to do, and that is just pick it up and drag it right here into this timeline. This is called a timeline. Now, Davinci is going to let you know that the timeline you drug over is out of sync to the frame rate that was originally set up in the Davinci program as a default. You can change that manually, but Davinci does a good job of just changing it for you. So don't freak out about that. you can change it, let Davinci do it. Now, first thing you'll notice about this particular clip, it's a very ordinary clip. It's just a photo of a American robin sipping water at a bird bath. That would be a very uninteresting photo, as would it be if it was a bird at a bird feeder or something like that. But because it's a video, it becomes interesting. It becomes in demand. People will download videos apparently and use as B-roll. What is B-roll? B-roll, if you're watching the evening news and there's a wreck or a fire and you see the main thing, it's a fire, it's the building's on fire, that's A-roll. What are you watching? You're watching a segment about a fire. But later on, you may see just the camera just show the front bumper of the local fire truck, okay? And then they'll voice over it or they'll blur it out and put some statistics over it. That's called B-roll, just background camera roll. I don't know why they're doing this. This is a common bird in the southeastern part of the United States, but it might not be a common bird in Malaysia or in Antarctica or someplace like that. So these things are downloaded all around the world. So anyway, I've already made a project. I've already named it. You can do that by File, New Project, and then it'll pull up a window. You name it, and then it'll put it there. Heck, what did I do? Sorry about that. All right, let me make sure everything is copacetic with both places. Yes. Okay, so let me catch my breath. I'm going to stop this segment and then I'll pick up. Okay, so we have a timeline, we have a clip, and we're going to upload this to Adobe. There are minimum length and maximum lengths that you can read about on the Adobe site. I'll tell you about that when we get over to Adobe. But 60 seconds is their maximum length. Now, if you can see this little orange thing right here, you can scroll the whole timeline and you can see that this is about a 4-minute clip, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So I need to extract some interesting bit of 59 seconds roughly. I don't want to go up to 60 seconds because they'll kick it out. Even if you do almost 60 seconds, they'll kick it out. I don't know how they count, but I usually do around 59 and a half seconds. Another thing is, imagine someone somewhere wanting to download an image that looks like this. What I try to do is find a very interesting starting point to get that person's attention to look at it for a second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and then maybe watch the whole thing because it's interesting to them, and then download it and buy it. So what I'm doing is, and by the way, you can grab this down here, but it's a little harder. And if it's a really, really long video, it's just easier for me to go across this way. Or you can move this cursor over, and that is a keystroke point. Don't go there, but just go above it. If you left click, it'll get you all the way to the end. So you see 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So we're going to go back to the beginning. And I'm going to stabilize this. I'm going to show you how to stabilize this very easily in Davinci. But I'm going to try to find a segment of the video. See here, I'm hand holding this, and I really don't have a good composition. And right about there, it starts getting good. Okay, I've got this bright spot in the back, which I'm not real happy about, but I was concentrating on the bird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this right here. I'm going to trim it away. I'm going to go to this razor blade. Left click turns left, and you can see actually in Davinci, if you move the cursor over the timeline, over your track, it'll scroll through the track for you. Okay. If you move it below, it doesn't do it. But if you move it above, it can. Now, I'm going to put that red line right on that little traveler line. Click once. I'm going to come up here and grab my cursor, left click, highlight it, and delete it with my keyboard. Now, I didn't do anything to destroy the original clip. I'm just trimming it for the purposes of this timeline. Now I need about 59 seconds, and I really don't have a good spot with that bird. I want him to be at a better pose. That looks very nice right there. So see the reflections on his chest? I'm going to trim that off because I want it to be an interesting spot there. Let me see if I hit that right. Yeah. So nice composition, and the bird is in a good spot. The bird's in a better spot actually right there because I want this to be attention grabbing at the very beginning. Okay, that's a very nice pose, and I need 59 seconds. So it'd be nice if it would drink some water, 1 drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks, maybe 1 more, almost. That'd be a good spot to end it, but I'm too long. I'm at 5 seconds over, but I'm going to trim this away. And there was a point at the beginning, and by the way, this is pretty compressed. In Davinci, you can go right here to this little slider and spread this out a little bit so that you've got more room to work with. And I wonder if I can find 5 seconds to trim on the front end before he dips his head or she dips. I don't know if that's a male or a female, forgive me. So good, I can get rid of that. I still have that pose. And now let's go to the end. And I'm at 59 seconds and 0.17, which is great. So now I'm going to go to the beginning. Actually, I'm going to go to the end for you. We're going to go to the inspector first. But as you can see, there's nothing to inspect. Now, these are Davinci terms. So we're going to go to the inspector. But if I move this traveler into the film area and let it go, now the inspector appears. And that's a pretty nice shot right there. So we're going to work with that. And actually, I think I'm going to, before I color correct, I think I'm going to show you how to stabilize. Because this is pretty stabilized already, just me hand holding it and using the IBIS and the image stabilization together. And the lens, it looks okay, but you got a little bit of a movement right here. So we're going to go over here to the inspector, and you can see we're in video. We're going to come down to the image stabilization, click that on, click in that bar, and we're going to hit stabilize. We're going to watch this little cursor move across right here, and we will have instantly stabilized video. And it should be done. Now there's a little bit of a crop. If this video was more erratic, there'd be more of a crop because Davinci would have to crop in more to level out and smooth out a lot of that erratical movement. But this was a pretty stabilized part. Let's hit play. And that looks really, really nice. That looks buttery smooth. Okay, so I'm happy with the length. I'm happy with the stabilization. And now we are going to move. And by the way, we've been in, forgive me if I didn't say this earlier. I should have said this earlier. There are these tabs down here, and you need to be in this tab, or you should have been in this tab. And by the way, if you ask me questions, remember, I've already done this whole thing once, and I didn't do it right because I got this other program recording what I'm doing. And so sometimes I forget what I've told you on the previous video versus this video, but we want to be in the edit mode, not in the cut mode. I don't even use this at all, media. This is your media file, but I dump media directly onto the timeline, which is perfectly fine in Davinci. Okay, so now we're going to do color grading. In the stills world, you would call that post-processing using Lightroom or whatever. In this world, it's called color grading. So we're going to move over to this color tab. And don't freak out. You'll see that this is an interesting thing that really needs to be flattened out, this image. You got these high highs and these low lows. So we need to flatten this out. You can see this on this histogram. A lot of lows over here, a lot of highs over here. So where I start, I I I stay right in this little box right here, and I don't even mess with these. You can, but remember, you don't have to know everything to do what I'm instructing you to do. So I'll start right here where it says mid and detailed, and think of this as a I can't think of it. Clarity. Think of it as a clarity button in your post processing. And notice these values because you're going to work from these values. This is 0, 0. This is 0.435. This is 1. All these values are different as starting points. This is 0, 0. I'm going to left click and move to the right and watch the bird with the detail improve and also the concrete. Can you see these little highlighters up here? So I'm going to leave that right there. I'm not going to touch anything here. We need to get rid of some highlights because this is way too bright. I'm going to left click here and move to the left. I'm going to bring that down while also preserving these highlights on the bird. I need to bring up the shadows because I'd like to see some detail on the back of the bird and underneath the bird. So I'm going to bring up the shadows. And also, depending on your computer and its speed and your video card and all that, there might be a delay. So what I do is I click and I'll unclick. And sometimes the program or the computer just kind of catches up things. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. And you see how we are lightening up that back area, but we're lightening up the bird as well. Since we've done this flattening of the image, I'm going to go over here to Color Boost. Color Boost affects the colors that you're looking at. So it's not going to do anything to green because there's no green in it. So I'm going to boost the colors a little. Less is more. That might be too much actually. And you can, if I wanted to boost the colors, I can go right up here and grab the red and bring the red down because there is a lot of red in there, which that looks nice. If I want to saturate it, I can add a little saturation. It's kind of a different way, but I'm going to leave this just like it is. So in my world, I'm done with the color grading. And now we're going to deliver this. And we're going to take our project, which is here. We're going to take this project and we are going to turn this into another MP4 file. And so now we are in the, now we're going to render the video into a usable file that we can upload to Adobe. So first of all, we're going to hit YouTube and we're going to title this and that's not the name. We'll call it 2026 CNPA Davinci to Adobe. I think that's right. And we're going to add to render. It's going to appear over here. There are no jobs over here, but there's going to be in a second. I want this to go to my video directory. That's where I put mine, my finished products. Check the spelling here, hit save, and now this job is going to be transferred over here. This is called job 1. If I went in and made a little change and did this again, it would be called job 2. That'd just be in queue over here. And then I'm going to render it. And this is the process. You can see this little traveler, and this little traveler, when it goes over to the end, it will be finished. And then Davinci will save this project for us. As soon as we turn off Davinci, it'll save it automatically. And it will repopulate all of your video as long as you haven't moved the original directory from where that robbing clip was when you drug it into the timeline. If you move it, Davinci's not going to know where you moved it to. Okay, so the video is made. And I'm going to go into, see if I can find it. This is not easy to do for you guys because I'm recording it. These are the videos. This is the video we just made. This is in my video directory. And that is the video we just made. And now I'm going to play it. And that is what we just made. Okay, so now there's a file there. I'm going to catch my breath because now I'm going to show you how to upload that to Adobe. Okay. Okay, so we are now at the Adobe site. So on your browser, go to Adobe, and you want to go to Adobe is a big company with a lot of stuff. So you will become a contributor with them. That's what they call you. And you basically need to go to this site, contributor.stock.adobe.com. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is my directory right here. There's the file that we just made from Davinci. And I am going to take this and drop it in Adobe and get rid of this window. Okay, so this, let me make sure you guys can see it on your screen. You can. So I am in a section of uploading files, and you can see which files are in review. There are none in review yet because I haven't submitted any. Well, I have, but and you can see my dashboard. I'll show you my dashboard. Let me make sure you can see it. So this year, again, no one's getting rich here, folks. This is not a gold mine, but to me, it's fun because I get paid for my photography. This year, this calendar year, I've had 78 downloads, almost 80, and roughly $2 a download. You can see my total earnings for this year is $156. When you go in and you become a contributor, you're going to have to fill out a tax form, a W, whatever. They will comply with the tax rules. You'll need to, the way you get your money out, see, I've got $42.72 available. I could get that money now, but I'm not. I usually do that around the middle of the month. And so next week sometime I'll probably do it. But from here, the money will go to PayPal. That's what I use. And from PayPal, once I get a hit from PayPal, I'll send it over to Fifth Third Bank, which is a brick and mortar here in Harrisburg. And that's how I get the money out. Okay. So you will see here that these are videos in my portfolio. Well, first of all, let me just show you. There's about 100 videos. There are about 100 images, videos, and stills per page. And I've got 54 pages, so there's 5,400 videos. So I don't spend a huge amount of time poring over one particular video. I just don't, or image. And so, but think about that. Think about our cameras for stills. They can take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 images in seconds. And if you're trying to find that one glorious, wonderful image, you're going to be throwing away a lot of images that have value. So, for example, somebody has downloaded, I got one download of this rabbit and this rabbit. I've got two rabbits. They chose the one they wanted. I didn't waste any rabbit shots. I've got other rabbit shots people download. Flowers, finches. The other day, I thought this looked nice. This was a red belly woodpecker in a blooming eastern redbud tree. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing against contests, But if this was a contest, I would have to promote the 1/6, I think, and get rid of the others. So in stock photography, within reason, you can do multiples of a single thing. So if you're shooting a herd of deer or elk or ospreys or what have you, you can upload several. So I believe that file uploaded. Let's see. Yes, that's our file. So let's, now that has uploaded, Adobe does a good job. First of all, they know that's a video. So it's already selected file type. And video down here, you can see it's a video. It's an MP4. And there's the name of it, 2026 CNPA Davinci 2 Adobe. That's the name of the file. And even in video, now this is a difference. I tried Shutterfly one time, and their AI for video is terrible. They can't figure it out. So they've already figured out that that's an animal. It could have been a state of mind, whatever that is. Could have been people. But Adobe knows, their AI knows that's an animal. So that's a subcategory. There are no recognizable people. We're going to have to title that. We're going to put American robin sipping water from bird bath. You can go to YouTube and look up how to title and label and keyword stock photography until your heart's content. Some people say use a lot of different keywords. Sometimes there is a title and a description where you keep the title as simple as possible, and in the description you can be more descriptive with more words. Adobe doesn't do that. They just have one line. So I kind of go in the middle. You can select these keywords here. Now remember, there are a lot of birds, so that's not going to help you that much. You want something unique. So it is wildlife. It is nature. It is a robin. Let's see. Now, there are people that have never seen a robin. It's a big black bird with an orange belly. So you might say orange. Remember, this is going to be viewed around the world. It's black. And they may not know what a robin is. It's avian. But you also might get something else out of this bird. It might be sipping. It might be refreshing. Someone might want a picture of a robin to tell a story about something totally different. You might just put drinking. You might put reflections, because there are reflections coming up on the breast. You might put looking away. Cute. Solitary. Something like that. It's not just bird on a bath. You might put blurry background. Okay. So, and I would do maybe 3 or 4 of these lines, and then that's it. Okay. Now, if we had 2 or 3 different versions, if this was a still and we had 2 or 3 different versions of the same composition, same bird, same everything, I would show you how to do bulk. It's not hard. It's very easy. But notice when we filled in all of this button then populated, because you've got one selected. You did all this correctly, and it's ready to go. So you hit submit. You hit yes, I reviewed. Yes, I understand. Continue. One last look, and then off you go. It'll be submitted, and they'll let you know in a few days if they've posted it in your portfolio for review. It's out on the World Wide Web on their sites, and you've started building your portfolio. I'm not going to submit that because I've already submitted this particular file. Okay, but that's pretty much it. That's how you go to Davinci, completely free of charge. You do a video, and by the way, let me just show you a couple of things. I did this on the last video. I forgot that I haven't mentioned it on this one. This is, these are just some ideas. Okay. These are things that have been, these are my top downloads. This is a vineyard. My wife and I went to the Yadkin Valley of North Carolina. This was a pretty photo of the valley. Took a picture of it, 9 downloads. This is a worm that was eating my tomato plant. I almost went and grabbed the 7 dust to kill it. And I said, no, I think I'll grab my camera, took a picture of it, loved the picture, and 8 downloads of a worm eating my tomato plants. Yellow belly sapsuckers, we get these in the winter. They've left now for the season. They love rabbits. Feeders. You say, well, why do you have pictures of feeders? If this was a photo, I would not take a picture of this, but because this was a video, it made it interesting because they were fighting and they were interacting and they were flying and hovering and pecking at each other, and it made it interesting for video. This was down in Port Royal. This was at a this is a photo. This isn't a video. Cows eating pumpkins. There were a whole. This is a photo. This is playing golf with my brother-in-law in South Beach, North Carolina. He thought that was artificial. I said, no, that's not artificial. That's a real 10-foot, 12-foot gator. So that was on the 18th hole. This was our recent snow storm that we had here in the Carolinas. Our our bird bath was frozen. I have a thermostatically controlled heater in there so they could get liquid water, and they were flocking around that and having a hoot. This was a photo this is my sister-in-law's porch. That's her dog. They just redid their porch. They're decorating new furniture. Jan walked into my office, my wife. She said, look, this is my sister's new thing. I said, that's a nice photo. I said, send me that photo. I took it in, did some editing, posted it. I've had 2 downloads, 99 cents a piece. These are military helicopters flying in formation at Litchfield Beach. We're out photographing birds, just enjoying life. Took a picture. Now, we're going to get into copywriting with photos, and this is something to be aware of. But first, I want to show you this. And I want to look at earnings from January of this year. Whoops. Earnings from January of this year through current. Okay. Display statistics. That didn't work for some reason. Let me try it again. January. Okay, so these are statistics. So this is what I've earned. Let me make sure you can see this. You can. You'll see here in the middle, video, 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 and you can't see this. Now you can see it. Okay, now you can see it. So this was at Madame Mesquite early in the spring last year. Just ducks on a pond. Nothing interesting to photograph. Took a video, sold that video for $12.22. These were ordinary common sparrows or finches or something. They were on the sea oats. Late in the day, golden hour was hitting them. The sun was blowing these sea oats. The birds were riding on them, eating all the oats off of the sea oat branches or whatever they were. Sold it for $11.15. All of these are videos, just very common bird eating dried mealworms on that hanging feeder, $8.40. This was a cardinal just chirping, just a common cardinal just chirping, sold it for $8.15. This was a blast off shot of snow geese at Madame Mesquite. This was taken with my iPhone, sold that for $7.82. Birds flying around. This was, we went photographing the sunflowers, looking for birds on the sunflowers with Lori early last summer. Kind of a slow interval there. That bird was on top. I'd already photographed it, but because I had my camera set up to where I could switch very quickly into video, I switched very quickly into video and took a nice video, stabilized it, color graded it, and sold it for $7.76. And again, you say, well, it's not worth $7.76. I'm going to sell it and sell it and sell it and sell it 9, 10, 12 times. I've sold one cardinal like 60 times at another site. These are all stills. These are photos. So you don't make as much, although that red-shouldered hawk was pretty good, $2.89. This was a video, and the interesting thing, this downy woodpecker eating at the suet feeder. It was snowing. You can see the snow in the background. Okay. All right. Let's look at some things that did not get accepted, because there's a thing called copywriting, and sometimes they just don't like things, and they're not real descriptive about telling you why. I thought this girl's hair was beautiful at the Highland Games in Columbia. I just took a picture of the back of her hair. So this is a walkway in Congaree Park. Now, one of these photos they liked. Now, this old couple was walking away, and so I didn't have to get said it just didn't meet their standards, but I got another one identical to it, and they said it did meet their standards. There was a girl, and I took a picture of her shoes, and there's copyright stuff. I blurred out the tags here. I blurred out the logos and the tongue. Still, with tennis shoes, even the way the stitching is done, even these stripes can be copyrighted information. And they said elements that might be intellectual property, so they kicked it out. I don't know why they didn't. I thought that was they didn't like that flag. I thought this was interesting. My son-in-law went down to throw these poles. It's called something, and he had a kilt on. That's not him, but I thought this was an interesting. Again, I was trying to avoid people, and it didn't work in this instance. So I took several pictures of this little lizard. I probably submitted too many, but maybe the shadows. They didn't like the shadows on this one. I don't know. They did not like these buzzards. I took a lot of pictures of these buzzards. Good pictures. They just didn't like them. Let's see what else. This is really cramped in here. Trying to find something that was intellectual property oriented. They didn't like this one. This is a Pisgah Bridge. Took that with my iPhone. This one, they finally got through. There were markings under the belly of this helicopter that I had to clone out. It said patrol. That did not sound like intellectual property to me, but I don't know anything about helicopters. And actually, these photos, they accepted a lot of them, but I probably submitted too many, so they kicked some out. But anything with a logo on it, a Nike swoosh, even iconic buildings. There's a thing called intellectual. There's architectural copywriting. But if you take just a part of a picture of a building, you might be able to get away with it. We were at the beach. My wife and I were at the beach, and someone had made a sandcastle of a Jeep. Imagine this. The sandcastle was not a castle. It was a Jeep. It was as if the Jeep was coming up out of the sand. It was fantastic. I took a lot of pictures of it, but the Jeep had that iconic front grille that all Jeeps have to one way or another. They kicked it out. It was just, it wasn't a Jeep, but it was a sandcastle of a Jeep. But because that Jeep grille is so iconic, they kicked it out. That's just the way it is. Okay. But anyway, don't worry about those things. Just get started. And it is a lot of fun. I've got another site that I've made over $1,000. I'm up to about $1,200 or $1,300, but they're changing their business model. A lot of things with AI and a lot of things with stock photography continue to change. Adobe is probably the biggest one. There are videos explaining how to do Adobe stock photography. There are tons of video back to Davinci. And if you want to communicate with me, put a comment down at the bottom of the YouTube video, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Okay? I hope this content was helpful.